Contrary to popular belief, not every raver is on drugs. I have been raving since 2012. It is now 2024, so I've been doing this for 12 years, and I have been predominantly sober of drugs and alcohol this whole time. Here to tell you guys that not every raver is on drugs or is drunk for every event, festival, show. Let's talk about what led me to that decision, because I did start out in the scene doing drugs or dabbling in them. I wanted to try them. When I first started raving in 2012, the typical stereotype of ravers is Molly and ecstasy, right? Me being 22 years old, I wanted to try it, so I tried it. Quickly found out that Molly, that wasn't for me. I remember I had taken it a few times and I never got that euphoric feeling that people talk about, that lovey-dovey feeling and seeing everybody all hug each other and love each other. Like, I just never got that. What it did for me made me feel like I was taking an Adderall. I would take it and then just be awake for the rest of the night. I just couldn't sleep. I was just up for hours and hours and hours, but I never got that feeling that everybody talks about. So I think maybe by like the 5th time that I tried to take Molly, I was like, I'm gonna double up, which is not a smart thing to do. I was at Sun City Music Festival. It was maybe 2014. I don't know anything about doses. Like, I couldn't even tell you how much I took or anything. This is just how like ignorant I am on the subject. I don't even know what I took. And at that time it was also different. Let me just preface, like, it was just a different time. Not a lot of people talked about testing your stuff or knowing who it's coming from or anything like that. So who knows what I was taking? That just wasn't talked about. The only platform at the time was Instagram. Nobody was talking about it. I don't know what I was taking. I don't know how much I was taking. I was just taking it, right? Take a dose. Again, don't know how much it was. Like right before I went in, and then once I got on, I took another dose. And I remember being at a set and it just started creeping up on me, and I was like, oh, this is what people are talking about. And I had a boyfriend at the time and my friend was there, and I was just like, I get it now. Like, this feels amazing. Just as quick as that like set on, the horror also started to set. And like, I was vibing, I was dancing, and it felt like it only lasted for a few minutes before I saw a mosh pit break out. And that just completely like shifted my mental state entirely, and I got scared and the nausea hit. And I've heard before, time and time again, like, if you feel the nausea, just write it out. You're gonna be fine. Go sit down, write out the nausea, drink water. So I was like, let me get out of here. My heart was racing. I went and sat down. I tried to drink water, and I just felt like I was just gonna vomit just so much. I felt sick to my stomach. My friend was like, I don't feel good either. So then like that just even more got into my head. I was also shaking and trembling. I was so cold. And keep in mind that Sunset Music Festival used to be every Labor Day weekend. So Labor Day weekend in Texas, it's hot out there. And I was trembling, and I look over at my boyfriend and I see his jaw chattering, and I lost my freaking mind. I was just like, this is horrifying. I'm not gonna ride this out. Like, this just does not feel good to me. And also, somebody gets wheeled by on a gurney, like the paramedics were wheeling somebody out, and I was like, there's no fucking way. I'm not doing this. Abort mission, count me out. If this is what it takes to get to this level, like taking that much and having to ride this out, like, I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to do it. So I immediately went to the porta potties and just started throwing it all up. I was probably in there for about 20 minutes just throwing it all up, because I was like, I gotta get all of this out of my body. I want nothing to do with this anymore. I don't care that I got a glimpse of that feeling and I can try to chase that and recreate that feeling again if I ride this out or figure out the dosing. No, I want no part in it. And that was the last time that I ever tried Molly, and that was like 2014, I think. And I never wanted to try this stuff ever again. And with the other substances that are also predominantly in the rave scene, like ketamine or acid, after experimenting with that, with the Molly experience, I was like, I'm past the point of trying things. Like, I don't want to try anything. If I haven't done it by this point, I'm just not gonna do it. I never went down a K-hole. I've never had an acid trip, and I've dabbled in a little bit of shrooms. And then throughout the years, I have dabbled with cocaine, just to be quite honest, but it was never anything consistent, just like a little bit here and there. And then I just eventually stopped that too. Drugs are completely out of my system. Haven't done them in years. And as far as the alcohol goes, throughout the years, I've just gone through periods of time where I want to drink at festivals, where I don't. And for the majority of my rave career, I haven't drank at festivals or events or shows because, for one, like, it's really expensive, okay? Like, especially at music festivals, like paying 20 something, almost $30 for a drink, very little alcohol, and then you're constantly running back and forth to the bathrooms, getting out of the crowd. Like, it just wasn't worth it to me. So I have been predominantly sober in that aspect. I do enjoy drinks here and there, but right now, for the past 8 months, I have not been drinking at festivals or events or shows at all, and it feels really good. So right now, a completely sober raver, and I love it. My 1 year being alcohol free will be in November of 2024. So that's the goal right now. It's July 2024. We only got a few more months left. So that's the goal, is just to get through November 2024. I've seen a lot of other girlies in the rave community do it. Vibe with Aid, Emily Dell, and Curly with Cami. Like, those were all kind of my inspiration. I was like, they can do it, so can I. And it's just something that I needed to do. I don't think I'm done forever drinking. Like, right now, the goal is just to get to a year, but there's still inside of me that wants a champagne or a wine at dinner, sake with sushi, that kind of thing. So I don't think I'm gonna give up alcohol completely, but like, I don't want to be hammered anymore and drunk and losing control. Like, don't want to do that. Even though I am a sober raver, I don't have any judgment towards anybody else that does, with a few exceptions. So you are your own person. You do what you want to do. I can't stop anybody from doing anything. What I can tell you is that just be smart, be safe, be responsible, test your stuff. That is just such a huge topic of discussion all over social media now, is that people talk about testing your stuff, and I think that that's great. So test your stuff, like, know who you're getting it from. Like, ground scores are really frowned upon. Like, if you find a bag of whatever on the floor, like, don't just rip it open and take it or swallow it or snort it, whatever it is, because you don't know what it is. Be mindful of all of those things and just make sure that you're responsible for yourself. I do have friends that still partake in substances, and they're so responsible about it and they're level-headed about it. That's great. And I also have a lot of friends that don't do it. So I have a nice balance of people around me that do it and that don't do it, and I'm accepting of all of them. What I have a problem is, and like where the judgment comes on me, is like, if you don't know how to handle your shit, like, then I don't want you around me. If I can tell that you're visibly fucked up on something, whether it's drugs or alcohol, and you're slumbling around or being sloppy or messy or just acting out, like, then no, I don't want you around me. I'm 34 years old. I've been doing this for a very long time. I want to enjoy my time. I'm not here to babysit anybody. So that's where I, draw the line. I'm like, no, I don't want that person around me. But in general, I don't care what you do. Just be safe and be smart about it. I am single right now, but for a partner, that is not something that I would want them to do. When I was younger, I didn't really care about it because I have had exes or dated boys that still dabbled. It didn't bother me, I guess. But now, like, just being completely off of everything, I don't want a partner that is gonna partake in substances. I thought that I was cool with it with the last guy that I dated, and I just remember being like at an event and he kept leaving me on the dance floor to go rip lines in the bathroom. Like, what? And I didn't say anything. So I mean, I know like not every man that's doing something would behave that way, but just for me, somebody's going to be that close in proximity to me and that we're going to spend life together and do life together and travel and go to events, like, I would just prefer my partner to not be on substances. And the older I get, it just kind of makes me think, like, I don't know if I'm gonna find a partner in the rave world that isn't on substances. Like, I know they're out there because, like, I don't do it, so I know that there's a man out there that doesn't do it either, but I've yet to meet that person. Every guy I've met in the rave scene is still very much actively using, participating, and that's fine for them. That's just not something that I want in a partner. I've seen on social media go back and forth between the non-sober ravers and the sober ravers. There's a lot of judgment in between. Like, normally we're everybody supportive of each other, but there's always going to be some disagreement. Like, the non-sober ravers saying that the sober ravers are just too judgmental of them, and we think that we're better than them. I don't care what you do as long as you're handling your shit and it's not impacting me. I've had people tell me that I don't understand the music and I can't appreciate the music because I'm not under the influence of it. Are you kidding me? Like, I don't need to be in an altered state of mind to enjoy the music and dance and like the environment. If you feel like you have to be on something to fully understand or comprehend, appreciate, or even enjoy just being there, then maybe you shouldn't be there. If you can't listen to this music in your car on the way to work or the gym, or you only go to events or festivals to listen to this music and then have to be on something, whether you're drinking or on drugs, to enjoy it. I don't think that you should be there, because you don't really like the music then. I could be wrong. If somebody wants to elaborate further in the comments of giving a rebuttal, then go ahead. But I don't understand that. I just think like if you don't truly enjoy the music and you only go to events to be on something, then you shouldn't be there. I get a lot of comments and DMs sometimes of people asking me how to sneak stuff in, or what the security is like, or if I have a connect. I'm just putting this out there right now, like, don't ask me that kind of stuff, because I don't do that, and I'm not here to promote anybody to do it. I give a lot of advice and help on how to go to these events, but I'm not here to tell you how to sneak stuff in, give you a heads up on what security's checking for, anything like that. So don't send me any DMs or comments about those types of questions, because I'm not gonna answer them. And if you are sober curious, let's talk about that. That if you are wanting to either cut back on taking something, or maybe just not even drinking, say if you're going to a 3-day music festival, try just going completely sober one of the days, but maybe just go one of the days without taking something, or go one of the days without drinking, or go one of the days like without having either in your system. And if you're not going to like a big 3-day music festival and you're used to just going to shows, local shows, maybe start going to like every other event sober. If it's the act of like needing a drink in your hand, drink an energy drink or drink a mocktail. And if you're worried about what your friends are going to say, like say you're in a group and everybody likes to take something, or everybody always likes to drink, talk to them and be honest. Like me and a lot of my friends, we still like to drink together, right? But when I'm on my sober breaks, they understand, okay? There's always gonna be some person in the group like, you sure you don't want to drink? Just have a shot. Like people always offer. They're like, okay, I understand. Like I just wanted to offer, but nobody's like really badgering me. Nobody's peer pressuring me. Everybody understands. So if your friends are your friends, just be honest with them and talk to them about like your goals and what you're trying to do. And they should support you. If they really are your friends, like they're not gonna peer pressure you. They're not gonna, hopefully they wouldn't like spike your drinks or trick you into taking something. So if you're worried about a group of friends that still heavily parties and you just want to kind of take a step back, like talk to them and be honest with them, and hopefully that they will support you. And if not, there's plenty of us that will support you, and you can come and talk to me for advice or tips on how to be a sober raver. In general, just don't make assumptions that every raver is under the influence of something, whether it's drugs or alcohol, because I know a lot of us that are not. And if you are, be safe and be responsible about it. Watch out for yourself, drink your water, know your limits, know your doses, test your stuff, watch out for your friends as well. There is a safe and responsible way to partake in substances, because I know like this is a part of the scene and it's not going anywhere. So if you are gonna do it, just be safe, take care of yourself, and take care of your friends around you as well. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.